Don't let a developer with Claude Code experience take your job. Today, you're going to learn 7 Claude Code secrets that will help transform the way you build and refactor your projects. We'll begin by setting up Claude Code on your machine, and then I'll walk you through the 7 key features you can't afford to miss. We'll look at how to streamline your workflow with auto accept mode, memory management, fetching web content, custom slash commands, file path auto completion, connecting to MCP servers, and extended thinking. By the end, you'll be able to harness Claude Code like a pro. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to install the bun runtime. So we're going to go over to Bun's website and we're going to copy this command here. So we can just click this copy. You can use npm or homebrew. I prefer bun over npm, it's faster. And so then we're going to go to our terminal. I use the warp terminal, and we can just kind of use AI in this terminal. It's really good. I'd highly recommend checking it out. You can press backspace to get out of the AI, and you can see it says try typing natural language instead of a command. So it's basically, it's a paid terminal, but I'd recommend checking it out. I'll leave a link in the description. I'm going to paste that command we just copied from Bun's website, and we'll install the bun runtime on our system. And then you can just type which bun, and that will give us the bun location on our computer. You can see that's installed now. So now we can use the bun install command. We're going to go back to the Anthropic website, go over to solutions, coding, scroll down a bit until you see Claude Code, and you can see it's in research preview at the moment. So we're just going to click join the preview. Now it says install Claude Code by running this command in your terminal. We'll just copy this part because we're going to use bun instead. So bun, paste that, and that's going to install Claude Code and on our machine. Now all we have to do is run Claude, and that's going to then log us in. So we hit enter, and you can see it's giving us the setup configuration. So we're just going to click enter again. It says Claude Code is built based on API usage through your Anthropic console account. Pricing may evolve as we change. So you will need to add a credit card in order to use this tool, but it's well worth it. It is a bit expensive, but if you check it out, you'll see how awesome it really is. Okay, press enter, and that'll take you to your Anthropic console. You can see I'm already signed in. You might need to create an account here in this case. So you'll need to create a Anthropic account as opposed to Claude. Authorize that, and there we go. You can see my icon here, and it says login is successful. Okay, press enter again. Here are some security notes. Claude Code is currently in research preview. It can make mistakes, and due to prompt injection risks, only use it with code you trust. And so we'll basically only use it in a directory that we trust the code is safe. So we want to always create like a new directory when we're using Claude Code, or on existing directories that we know have security issues potentially. So click enter again, and you can see we're in the working directory warp, which is a directory I created for my warp terminal, but we can change that in a second. So just before we do that, we'll go to the Anthropic console, and you can click API keys here, and you can see that's generated a new API key for us. So you'll also need to add a credit card here in order to use this Claude Code. You need some credits. You need to be able to. It is a bit expensive, as I said, but it is worth it. When I click on the organization, you can see it created this workspace, Claude Code. And this is where you can kind of manage everything to do with Claude Code via the dashboards, your API key, members, etc. Okay, so now that we're in Claude Code, I'm just going to quickly exit that. I'm going to change my working directory to desktop, and we're going to run bunx npx create next app latest. So we're going to create a basic next app. We're going to call it Claude example, TypeScript, no ESLint, Tailwind, no source directory, app browser, and TurboPack. Yeah. And we don't want to customize that. So that's going to create a new Next.js app. And now we're going to run, we're actually going to cd Claude example, and then we're going to run the Claude command again. And in order to give this context, we just put init, and that will initialize a new claude.md file with the code base documentation. So it will give it some ideas about what it is. We've just created a boilerplate Next.js app, so it's going to write up some documentation there. The next thing we're going to get into is the 7 key features. The first one I want to talk about is the auto accept. And you can run auto accept mode by hitting the shift key and the tab key. You can see that has turned auto accept edits on, and that will allow the Claude Code to just run each request without having to, ask you each time to approve it. You can see it's going through all of them. If I turn that off, it should basically ask me, do you want to make this edit to Claude MD? Yes. Okay, we're going to just turn that on again, and we're going to say create a landing page for a business that sells ice cream. Okay, now that's auto accept edits on. It should go ahead, and we'll just review this quickly. You can see it's created all the guidelines for Claude Code to refer to in that claude.md file. And now we've said, I'll create a landing page for an ice cream business. It's going ahead and doing that with auto accept edits on. So we'll give it some time. And then once that's complete, we'll come back and we'll review the changes. Okay, so it's actually changed all the files, but what we want to do here is it's saying linting. We don't want to lint, we just want to run the dev command. So let's just do run dev. We've backed out of Claude Code now and we're running the dev command. So let's go to our localhost. Nice. That's create a landing page, Frosty Delights. And I mean, with ChatGPT 4.0's new kind of image creation, you can make the images now like really good, high quality images for this. So it is just crazy how quickly you can now build a website. So auto accept, really good feature, highly recommend checking that out. One other thing I'd like to just make you aware of is source control. And, most people, I heard this story the other day in Reddit where a guy had spent like the past couple of months building a website using AI, and he didn't even know what Git is and how to use source control, and the AI overwrote his whole project and he wasn't able to revert those changes. And so it's important when you're working with Claude Code to make sure you're regularly committing your work. So we're going to go git init, and that's going to initialize a new project, git project, and we're going to say git status. We'll see all the file changes here. Okay. We can actually open up this in cursor. So if I just say cursor, and we drag and drop this into here, you'll see that's initialized the git ignore with all the git ignore files. And we've got our claude.md. And okay, now we can just add all files, git status. You'll see it's got all of these. Okay. And then git commit initial ice cream commit. Okay, so now that's added all our files to Git, and any future changes we make to the code can be reverted back to that particular commit. And that's just an important note. So the next feature we're going to talk about is memory management. And in order to use memory, you can basically hit in hash. It's a new feature, just been released. And you can see here it comes up. If you just need to type in, once we're in Claude Code, just the hash tag key. and then it will say add to memory, try always use descriptive variable names. And so for me, I like to make sure in my Next.js apps that my TypeScript interfaces are outside of the render body, and that the props are always structured inside the render body rather than inside the argument. So what I'm going to say is always use interfaces outside of React component render bodies body. I'm going to add that to the project memory. Okay, I'm just going to do project memory, and then I'm also going to do another one, which is props should always be destructured in the render body. Add that to project memory. And then finally, I'm going to say for page components, use export default, and for all standard React components, use arrow export const arrow function. Okay, add that to project memory. And then I'm just going to basically check my Claude Code now. So if I go over to cursor, I just open this again, and we go to Claude. Let's just full size this. You'll see we've added, here we go, React always use. In fact, we'll just update this to TypeScript interfaces outside of React components render body. Props always be destructured in the render body, and then use export default for page components. So now let's just take a look at our app and our page. And I'm going to say for our page, so move content in app/page.tsx. So we always want to be very specific when we're talking with Claude Code. Move content in app into components directory. Let's just do that, and we'll see if it actually uses the memory. Okay, do that. I'm going to put auto accept mode on. Okay, it's thinking. So it wants to make a directory, which is fine, yes. So it will still, even though auto accept mode is on, it will still notify you when it's making any critical changes like a directory, but it will edit files without having to review every single edit. So it's manifesting. Okay, now it's asking me to lint. I don't want to lint. I just want to exit. And I want to check. Okay, you can see there it's cost 25p for that whole session. The duration, the API duration, and the total duration, total code changes. Now let's just check and see if it's actually implemented. Great. Okay, so I don't particularly like the title case components. So again, I'm going to go back to add to memory, Claude. I'm going to add to memory, use the following naming convention for React component files, call to action.tsx. Okay, I'm going to add that to project memory. I'm going to say update component file names based on new claude.md file. I'm going to just put on auto accept edits again. Okay, you can see it is changing kebab case. That was the word I was looking for. Okay, so now it should have updated these, or will update these to kebab case. Once it's complete, you'll see those all change. And we can also check the components. So we just go to hero. You'll see it's using export const. It's got the interface. It's destructuring the props in the arguments, which is not ideal. See if it's doing that for all of them. Yeah, it is. Maybe I wasn't specific enough about that, but basically what I wanted is this to be props, and then inside the render body, destructure the name, description, and color from the props variable. But there you go. Need to be more specific. Okay, still going. Costing me an absolute bomb for the ice cream shop. Okay, let's see. You can see it's changed the file names to the correct file names now. Just hasn't deleted the other files. I wonder if it's going to do that. No, I don't want to do that. Delete the snake or title case components. Do you want to proceed? Yes. Okay, let's check. There we go, deleted. All right, let's check if our app's actually running. Okay, features has been removed. Great. So this is a great case where Claude Code can usually figure out what's going on. Let's see. Nope, okay. Feature. Okay, this is why we probably should have run lint, which is what it said to do. Let's see. Shouldn't run npm run lint, should have actually been specific again. Another thing to add to memory management, which is use bun instead of npm. Because look how slow this is. If this was bun, it would be instant. Okay, I'm going to interrupt it. And I'm going to say use bun instead of npm for all commands. Claude memory, saving to project memory, lint the project. Hopefully it uses bun now. Yup, bun run lint, yes. And yes. Okay. Okay, it's asking for ESLint to be installed. And again, I'm going to say install biome.js and use and update the bun command. In fact, yeah, update the lint command, sorry, to use biome.js lint. Put on auto accept. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay, now it's going and linting, fixing these errors. Yeah, let's relint. Okay, let's see. Feature still doesn't exist, so but run tsc command. That'll fix it. Yes, proceed. So adding those files again. Vibing. Try again. Features cannot find module. That's the issue we're running into. Let's create it. So it's asking to lint again. And it's come up with another error, so we're fixing that. Running the TypeScript command, and there we go. That should be it now. All issues have been fixed. Here's what's been accomplished. Gives you a rundown of everything, and it tells you what we've done. So you can see that's working again. And it was just a bit of a faff to get there because it, for some reason, deleted all these components when we asked it to rename them. But ultimately, yeah, we have added a few things to memory: file names, kebab case, exports, props, React, use kind of bun as the package manager, bun run dev. And yeah, that's what memory's for. The next feature we're going to use is web fetch. So we can actually fetch documentation from any page and use it as the context in Claude Code now. And you do that just by pasting a link. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, let's have a look. So let's do, trying to think, Daisy UI. So there's these Tailwind components, Daisy UI Tailwind components. And we can go here and we can say, so this is the documentation. We'll just say docs, introduction, installation. So we just go ahead and say use Daisy UI components in place of existing components. And that should run a web fetch. So let's just see. Okay, see there? Web fetch. That's gone ahead and now fetched the content from the website and stored it as context. And so now we can actually add that to memory. Prefer Daisy UI components for UI design. So, okay, yeah, that's fine. Design theme. Okay, we're going to add that to memory once this is finished. List detailed contents of specified directory. Yes, that's fine. So it's now updating all the components to Daisy UI's component. Okay, let's lint. This is why Claude Code is so good, is because it can basically like test as it goes and fix those issues. Proceed again with the lint. TypeScript. Great, everything's working perfectly. So no, I don't want to do that. I want to add that to memory, which is preferred Daisy UI components. And then we're going to go and check out our Frosty Delights. Okay. Refresh. Looks like it's broken some way, shape, or form. Probably to do with Tailwind. Pages. Required Daisy UI. Let's try bun install. Yeah. Refresh that. Okay, there's obviously something happened here. So we can actually just ask Claude Code. Daisy UI hasn't been installed correctly. Issue might be with the post CSS configuration. globals.cs. Looks like you're trying to use Tailwinds directly as a post CSS plugin. Yeah. Where is it? Post CSS. Yeah, that's correct. And at least, let me check what version we're on here. Tailwind CSS version 4. Okay, so again, it probably didn't realize that it installed that Tailwind has actually got a new version. So again, we can use web fetch. So Tailwind CSS v4 is a new version and is installed differently with breaking changes. Check the documentation and make the necessary updates. So that will go ahead and do a web fetch again. Now it's going and making the necessary updates to the Tailwind, which actually is, there's a fair amount of updates basically there. We can review them now. You'll see you've got some breaking changes like importing this like that, importing Tailwind CSS, and then installing the plugin there. Using Vite. Okay, let's see. Let's retry that. And it's actually searching for more information about Daisy UI and Tailwind v4, which is interesting. Don't even know if those two things are compatible at this point. Bust bundle list. Okay, see where we're at. Frosty Delights still looks a bit funny. Yes. Okay, maybe we hadn't imported the Daisy CSS. Let's see if this makes a difference. Daisy UI has been imported now. Refresh. Can't resolve. Okay, so let's just copy this. There we go. Looks like it's a bit better now. I preferred the old design, so again, this is another reason why you should have Git installed on your repository, because we can now just revert all of those changes. Let's have a quick look. Let's just exit. Okay, so that cost me $2.50, which is quite a lot for this, but not a great example. This would probably be better if you're building out some sort of back-end service or something, or like a large refactor of an existing project. But again, use Git, because otherwise you end up in a situation like this where it actually doesn't look as good. So I'm going to revert back. So basically git restore dot and then bun install bun dev refresh, and now reverted back. So I prefer this. Let's not use Daisy again. The next feature we're going to talk about is custom slash commands. And so the custom slash command, we can basically just do Claude again. Oh, we're already in Claude. Exit. No, we were not in Claude. My bad. Claude. Custom slash commands, we can basically, we need to change directory. CD, Claude example, run Claude again. There we go, our working directory is this. So custom slash commands, you can basically customize what commands you put in here. So you could do like user update. So for the custom slash commands, you want to create a new .claude/commands directory. And we can go over to the custom slash commands Claude here. And we want to make a new directory like that. So if we go to our repository, mkdir -p.claude/commands. And then we want to create a markdown file for each command. Oh, okay, it's already doing it. So yeah, that has created an optimize, analyze the performance of this code and suggest 3 specific optimizations. And then you can use this command in your project. So we go here, but we'll need to restart Claude /project optimize, and then it's running that. So it's going and looking for optimizations at the moment. Add React memo to components like flavor card and feature card to prevent unnecessary re-renders. Replace direct image tags with Next.js image components. Go ahead and implement these optimizations. So that's custom slash commands. The next one we're going to talk about is autocomplete for file paths, and you just hit tab. So if I do components, hit tab, you can see this comes up with all the files. So we can actually basically easily access all of these files. So what's this? Class name, event handlers cannot be passed. So, okay, what is this? App/page. So if I just say fix the error for the on-click handler, which should be a client component in app tab, and then you've got this drop down. So just again, another really nice feature that is worth knowing if you understand your code base. And it's good, again, to be very specific about small changes and what file to change so that Claude Code doesn't just go and rewrite your whole code base again. Now's probably a good time to make another git commit. If you are updating your code base like regularly, then you probably want to be committing after every single change. If I was doing this on a real world project, make sure that Claude is not rewriting the whole code base every time, and so I'd be very specific about the files that we need to overwrite. You can see here it's moving these into their own sections. Let's have a look. Memorize, data print, recreating. So, okay. I think it's just basically removed the optimizations it previously made, which is a bit stupid, but let's have a look. No, run, bun, run, lint. Is that even still in our memory? Let's have a look. That might be why. Yeah, I removed the memory because of the git. You know, I reverted the changes. So run lint. Oh yeah, and bion.js as well, again. So let's just not do that and run use bun instead of npm. And then use bion.js for linting. Okay. Now lint. I'm gonna add auto formatter, or sorry, auto accept. npx biome, yeah, go for it. So it's now formatting everything based on the biome linting, which is fine. Okay, shouldn't have ran run dev, to be honest. Let's refresh. Again, this error is still appearing. Hero. That should be use client. And again, location hours, use client. Call to action. Just quicker me doing it now at this point. Footer. Okay, Frosty Delights. And we've got this issue with Tailwind. Oh, Daisy UI's back. I don't know how that got there. Okay, well, probably not a great example at this point. I think we're just going to exit this. I think we've learned the main features. We've learned autocomplete for file paths, custom slash commands, web fetch, add to memory, and auto accept mode. And the next thing we're going to learn is how to connect to an MCP server. And so if I just exit or escape, and I want to add an MCP server, and basically MCP servers are like a server client architecture where you have a client such as Claude Code or Claude Desktop, or even your own code base. You could have like Vercel MCP server client, which connects with a server. And you can find these kind of servers at Smithery AI, and you can see I've created one here. So if you go to Smithery AI, there's loads of different servers people have created, Exasearch, where you can basically interface with external tools using AI to get the weather, to do various things, search, Brave browser. The one I created is the MCP GitHub projects. And so that allows you to create and edit GitHub projects. So if I just do projects, you'll see we've got these two projects which I've created directly with an MCP server, and I've created all the tickets to do backlog in progress. I've marked them with different statuses. You can like come in here and view Kanban board basically and update the projects like that. And so I created this one. We're going to go ahead and add it to our Claude Code instance and start basically creating a new project. So we'll go ahead and exit Claude Code. So we do Claude MCP. So you can see configure and manage MCP servers. And you can serve one, add one, remove, list, get, add JSON, add from Claude Desktop, and reset project choices. Reset all approved and reject project scopes, mcp.json servers within this project. So my MCP project is actually hosted in here, and what I want to do is just open that up quickly. MCP GitHub projects, and now you can see the code that I've written. I'm going to change this to my own profile with Dracula Pro theme, which is a paid theme, but really nice. And you can use it across all your tools. And yeah, this basically what we do is we run build. It generates some types and stuff, and it also builds the server and puts it into a single JS file here, which is kind of super basic. We want to run this file in order to run our MCP server. So we want to get the main working directory of this. So I'm just going to actually see here. This is the directory on my computer locally, and I want to add this server here to my my Claude instance. So we do Claude MCP add. It's going to go through the interactive wizard. Okay, so GitHub project. I'm going to add it to, project. I'm going to use stdio because that's what my server's set up to use. The command is going to be node and then paste your working directory /build/x.js. Okay. And now that basically should run that server instance. It's open source. You can go ahead and try this yourself, but I'm gonna do, so you could download this locally onto your computer and then run the build command and then do exactly what I'm doing here. So node confirm, and your server is in GitHub. It's now been added to the project configuration using project by mcp.json. So we're in the Claude example, and if I open that again, Claude example, we should have a .mcp.json. Okay. Now what I want to do is add my environment variables, and I've got a GitHub personal access token. I'm actually going to go and get this. I'm going to paste those in like that. And now I've got an MCP server that should run successfully. So let's just check by running the Claude command. New MCP server may execute code. Use this. Yes. Loaded project memory. Found one MCP server. Okay. I'm going to say list my projects. Let's see if this works. List projects. Yes. Boom. So those are my projects from my app here. These two projects. And I'm going to say update the surfboard landing page to ice cream shop. Yes. Okay. Now that should change to ice cream shop if I refresh. There we go. Project for managing the ice cream shop website development. And now I basically want to go into this, and you can see we've got all these tickets. So I'm going to say delete existing tickets and create a new ticket in to-do for completing the hero image on the ice cream shop landing page. So that should delete these tickets and create a new ticket for basically creating the image on the landing page. So yes, 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 yes. Deleted all of them. And then, yes, ice cream shop draft issue. Complete the hero image for the ice cream landing page. Design and implement the hero image. And so you can now ask Claude Code to read those tickets in this Claude example, and it says create a new complete, So that's in to do now. And you could just say complete it and move it into complete or in review. So that's connecting to an MCP server, and you can do that directly with a local MCP server or one that's online, hosted online. The final thing is extended thinking. And so for extended thinking, I'm going to say, think hard about, you just need to say think hard, basically. So if you read, we've got these instructions here. If you're planning on a major change, such as a large-scale refactoring or adding complex new functionality, always instruct Claude Code to outline a plan before implementing any changes. Encourage deeper thinking by using phrases such as think hard, think deep, think longer. After reviewing Claude's proposed plan, if you agree, proceed directly with the changes. So think hard about a plan for redesigning the ice cream shop landing page and create the necessary tickets in the backlog for doing so. Once I've reviewed the plan, create the necessary tickets for the implementation. Okay, let's have a look and see what comes back. Okay, you can see it's come back with a plan, ice cream shop, landing page redesign. Looks good. Technical approach, yep. Yes, please think deeply about each ticket when creating it. So let's just say that. Okay, there we go. So let's just proceed with all of these. Proceed with all of those. And that should be it. Created 9 detailed backlog tickets covering all aspects of the ice cream shop landing page redesign, including header navigation, etc., etc. And now we can go and we can check all these tickets in the backlog. We've got some requirements. Look at that. Really good. And now you can actually go and ask the Claude Code to implement each one of these. I'm not going to do that because it's going to cost me money and it's a waste of time because I'm never going to set up an ice cream shop. So, but yeah, that kind of shows you how you can use Claude's extended thinking. Just tell it to think hard, think deeply about a particular task, and it will. And that's really it. That's the 7 Claude Code features that kind of complete. There's a few final best practices I'd recommend, which are periodically asking Claude Code to review your entire project for consistency and efficiency. And for small tasks, always be explicit. I think we discussed that before. You should always be explicit with the files that you're modifying. Whereas for larger kind of tasks, always have Claude outline the plan first. So we've been through that. And now you have some serious knowledge on mastering Claude Code. So give these features a try in your own projects and keep on vibe coding. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe as it helps my channel grow. And thank you for watching.